Hi guys, and welcome back to our channel, Three Queens Cuisine. So the heat wave has inspired me. I thought what better thing to do than to show you guys how to make your own version of ice cream. So this is a non-churn style ice cream. So if you don't have an ice cream maker at your house, like I don't, this is a nice easy way to make a basic ice cream base. So from there we can add in whatever we want to. I've previously done it with cookie dough ice cream. I've made my own, so you make the simple base. I've made the edible cookie dough, little balls, made them, froze them, and then added them to the ice cream base and froze that together, and you have your own version. So it's a little bit cheaper, it's a little bit easier just to have it, and this is something you can make at home with your family, your friends. You can bring it to an event. Depending on how you want the ice cream, you leave it in the freezer for a certain amount of time. You can have it almost like a soft serve, or if you leave it for longer, it'll be pretty solid, but if you leave it out long enough, you can still have that soft serve consistency. So the first thing we're going to go over is the ingredients. So we need 2 cups of heavy cream. We're not adding sugar to it. We're not going to make it like a whipped cream. We're going to do it a little differently. Sweetened condensed milk. This also comes in an unsweetened, but since we're not adding any extra sugar to our base, this is going to be our extra sugar. So make sure you get it in the sweetened condensed milk. We're also going to be doing vanilla. This is going to be our basic base, so we can add what we want to it. You could leave it plain vanilla. You can add chocolate, you can add whatever you want. So for today, we're going to be doing our take on cookies and cream. So we're going to be adding some Oreos into there. We're going to mash them up, throw them into the base, and freeze it, and we will have ice cream tonight. So this is for you guys to use, to look at, and to try out for yourself of homemade ice cream. Since this is like a non-churned ice cream recipe, it's going to require either a hand mixer, a standing mixer, or if you do want to do this by hand, it will be a little bit longer, but I guess if you have like a little bit of a group effort, you can have multiple people whisking and getting everything to the right consistency. So if you have a hand mixer, there's also like a standing blade mixer that's also available, that if you guys are looking into purchasing certain equipment that is easy to use, easy to store, stand mixers are good like that. The hand mixers are good, and a stick blender, I believe it's called, is also something useful that you can use to make this as well at home. You heard the whining in the last video. This is the culprit, Mr. Clark. He wants attention all the time, but you can't have it right now. I gotta make ice cream. Okay? I love you too. As usual, I'm going to provide you guys with a screenshot of the ingredients and the exact recipe of how to make it. So this way you guys can look at it yourself and see if you want to make it, if you want to try it. Let us know about what kind of alterations you made, what ice cream flavors did you make, which ones did you like, which ones did you not like, and give us an idea of how easy it was for you guys to do this recipe. So for our very first step is about whipping the heavy cream. This process, it seems super easy, but it actually can go very wrong very quickly. First of all, we want to start it out on a lower speed because it is liquid. You start it out too high, you're going to end up with splatter everywhere. So keep it on a low speed to start. When it starts to get a little thicker, you can increase the speed. However, because we need it to be stiff peaks, if we over churn it or over beat it, it will turn into butter. So it start to get chunky, it'll separate, you'll end up with buttermilk, and you'll end up with butter solids. So this part is where you do have to pay attention. Don't just turn on the mixer and walk away. You're gonna have to keep your eye on it because it can very, very quickly go from perfect to overdone. So keep your eye on it and don't overbeat it. Don't worry if you happen to over whip it and it does turn to butter, it's okay. I have done that myself many a times. I've overbeaten it to the point where it turned into butter and then separated and turned into buttermilk. It's okay. It's not that big of a deal, I promise. Just get some more heavy cream and start over. This is how we learn with cooking and baking, is sometimes you make a mistake, and the best thing to do is to learn from that, move on, and try the recipe again. And then before you know it, you guys will be able to make this recipe without even having to look at anything. You'll just know how to do it, what it looks like, everything. So don't worry about that if it gets overbeaten. Get some more, try again, not a big deal. Okay, so the first thing we're going to get started with is whipping our heavy cream, simply due to the fact that this is going to take the longest to do, because the other parts are just mixing some parts together. So we're going to start with is that. So if you have a standing mixer, use a standing mixer. If you have a hand mixer, you can. I prefer the whisk attachment over the paddle attachment. I think it aerates it a little bit better, and that's what we really need. We need to aerate this and get it moving. So we're going to start with that, which is 2 cups of heavy cream. Make sure you shake it before you open it. Something I've always learned. And if you've just washed your container or bowl, make sure you dry it so we don't put any kind of different liquid in there. We just want the heavy cream. So we're going to do 2 cups of heavy cream. Alright? We're going to get a small spatula, scrape all that out. We want every little last bit that we can get of our 2 cups. I don't know about you guys, but that annoys me on cooking shows when they don't put in the full amount of ingredients that they said that they're supposed to put in, and there's stuff left in the bowls or something like that. It always annoys me. I'm like, you say put that much in. Put it all in. So, now that we have our 2 cups in, we're going to start it off on a low speed. It is liquid. We don't want this splattering everywhere, just like if you're using powdered sugar, that would go everywhere. So we want to start on a very low speed. Alright? Low speed. You can see we're just on level 1 as far as speed goes. We're going to leave that on a low speed for quite a while until it starts to thicken up, and then we can start to increase the speed. We don't need our other liquid ingredients just yet. So, for our flavoring part, since we're doing the cookies and cream flavoring, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Oreos. Nothing is sponsored. I don't have any rights to anything, so nobody block me or anything, alright? Nobody copyright me. I don't own anything. Alright, so we're just going to take our Ziploc bag. We're going to put a good amount of cookies in there because this does make quite a bit of a base. So I'm just going to use 1 roll for now. So we're just going to put it in there, leave a little bit of air for yourself, okay? Flat surface. That's what we need the most of. Flat surface. If you don't have a rolling pin and you have a tenderizer, you can use that. Anything kind of heavy, you can use. This is where, if you're angry at somebody, something, anything, take out your frustration. So we have them broken up. You want to do it enough so we have a variety of sizes and pieces in there. If you want more, add more. If you like that amount and you don't want to do too much adding, that's fine too. This is the part where you guys get to make it however you want. You want to do any kind of anything inside? Go for it. Try it. It's always going to be something different and new, but try it. So you can always add more, but always start off with just a little bit, just so you know if you like the amount or not. If you are going to try this recipe this way, and you're going to crush up cookies of some sort, just watch your fingers and watch your hands. If you have any little ones helping you, make sure that they are clear of the area, just in case. You don't want anybody sticking their hand in there with whatever you're using to hit these, but definitely watch your own fingers first as well. Just as a side note, if you are going to crush something as well, Don't put too much air into the bag, because as you're hitting it, you're going to cause that air pressure to come towards the front, and it's going to pop. Or it might pop on the seam somewhere, and you're going to spill out everything. So not too much air left in the bag, just a small amount this way so everything can move about when you want to mix it and shake it up. But not too much air, otherwise the bag will pop. So I went from a level 1 mixing to a level 2, and as you guys can see, it's changed consistency. Patience in this is the best game, because if we overmix it, we lose out on 2 cups of heavy cream, and we have to start again. So this is a good learning experience, is keep it slow and don't worry about it. Mixing it for a while, we can still see it's too soft of a peak, so this needs more time. But this is one of the stages it can look like it's very soft, but it's not yet there. So we're going to continue mixing it. I bumped it up to level 3 because now it is thicker. It's not going to splash everywhere. Since our whipped cream is coming along very nicely, what we're going to start working on are the other liquid ingredients. So we're going to take our sweetened condensed milk. We're going to open that up. Here's a little trick for you guys. Some people know how to do it this way on the side. For any can opener, put it on the top. You end up with no sharp edges, and it comes off nice and easy on top. So this way, you don't have to deal with a sharp lid dropping in. Because after you're done taking it off, if it'll work with me, is, no, okay, this can didn't want to work with me. That's okay. But as you can see, the lid comes off. No worries. Just watch the paper label, because sometimes that can come off with it. So if that's the case, just watch that. But you take it off, the lid comes off like this, and it doesn't fall into your can, so you don't have to worry about it. The top is dirty, nothing falls in. So we want to make sure that we scrape everything out of our can, all the way through. This is a little thicker. It's not bad, I promise. It didn't go. Condensed milk like this is thicker. So we want that thickness, because that's also going to help with the heavy cream. This is going to make our thickened base, because that's essentially what you need to do, is have it thickened to make a better ice cream. So we're going to make sure we get everything out, and then we're going to add in our, if I had the recipe in front of me, that would help. So we're going to add in our teaspoon of vanilla. So our 1 teaspoon is this size. Okay? Now for this, I'm again using a vanilla extract that has a coloring. If you don't want any kind of tinting to your ice cream base, you can use the clear vanilla. It's all the same thing. So if you prefer that, you can use that. If you don't mind it with a slight tint, then use the darkened one. That's fine too. So whichever one you guys prefer. This doesn't have to be exact. Sometimes if you prefer more of a vanilla flavoring, you can add just a little bit more. This way you have that vanilla coming through a little bit more. If you're going to leave it especially a plain base, you can always add a little extra of the vanilla. That's good. You're going to do any of your additives after it's in a container of sorts, because depending on what you're using, it may break it up too much. You know, cookie pieces in there, if they're already broken up, may break down even more, so you don't even get like little chunks if that's what you want. So the best thing to do is, once it's in the container that you're going to freeze it in, make sure it's something that is freezer safe. Plastic containers are good to use. I wouldn't recommend a bag. I don't think that it would set as well. And that would kind of freeze flat. It'd be hard to scoop out. So if anything, a type of plastic container would be good, something reusable that you can use again. Y'all, we got stiff peaks. They're small, but we're still going to mix together the other ingredients, so we don't want to overmix it at this point. So by adding the other ingredients in and mixing those together, that's going to continue to aerate everything and make it just a little bit fluffier. So the vanilla and the sweetened condensed milk are mixed together. So now we're going to add everything into the mixer. All right, we're going to put our mixer on low again, just one, and we're going to slowly add. It's hard to get the right angle. So we're just going to slowly add it in, so it gets incorporated into our base evenly and everybody gets aerated and we don't over flood the mix. We want to mix everything together. We're going to continue to aerate it and do it that way. Make sure you scrape everything out. Like I said, I can't stand when cooking shows do that, when they say put in the whole mixture into a baking tray or whatever, and they leave a lot behind. Don't do that. Try to get every bit out that you can. Alright, the condensed milk and vanilla has been added. I'm going to let that whip together for a little bit more, and then I'm going to put it in the container, and then we're going to add our cookies. I did mine a little differently from the recipe, which is that you're supposed to fold everything in together. I'm still using the mixer. If it looks a little too thin than what you want it to look like, just throw it on high for a little bit, get it mixing, and it looks almost the same. On high for a little bit just to re-aerate it and disperse everything properly, and we're going to add it into the container now. We want to try and use something that's deep enough to hold everything, while also not too deep where it takes longer to cool down. So we're going to finish scraping everything off the beater as much as we can. Everything off. What we can also do is when you take it out, you can see how thick that's going to be. So you can just continue to kind of aerate it on your own. Give it a few mixes. Make sure everything got incorporated from the bottom as well. Just give it a few mixes. It may even look a little bit like pudding. All good. So now we're going to add it into our container, and you can see how thick it is. It's not going to always be the same consistency depending on temperature around you as well, but also different styles that you do it. So this time I did it in the mixer instead of doing it by hand. Let us know if you did it by hand and not by mixer. Did you prefer that consistency to this? If you did it only by hand and no mixer at all, let us know if you preferred that as well. So we can see what different ways work better with these recipes, because sometimes no mixer is sometimes better. So let us know what you guys tried differently. So now everything's in there. We're just going to level this out a little bit more. As you can see, you guys get a pretty good amount out of this. So if you did want to double the recipe, you could. And now we're going to take, I have added some Oreos into here. Again, I don't own anything, no trademarks. We're just going to slowly add as much as we want at first. And then we're going to mix this in and see what it looks like. So we have a pretty decent amount on top, right there. Try to get the angle right. And now we're just going to mix it through. This will work out well because this will also help aerate the ice cream some more. And you see, when you use a plastic container, you can see to make sure that it's all been mixed in. And this smells amazing. So you can use the plastic container to make sure, you know, I've missed a section. Let me scrape that part, move that around, get it evenly distributed. And if you like how it looks, you can leave it. I like to add a little bit more. I think you can never go wrong with more cookies in there. Just gonna add what's left. But you guys get to choose what amount of stuff you put inside. You know, let us know. What did you put inside? What did you like? What different things did you try? Did you try new combinations? You know, let us know. We always love to hear what people have tried with different recipes, and you know, maybe they prefer doing it a different way than what we did. If you prefer doing it with a separate little hand mixer by hand, or if you also did it with a mixer, a standing mixer, let us know. All right, so now that is thoroughly incorporated. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna scrape every bit off. Like I said, hate when cooking shows do that. Don't be wasteful. So this is gonna be a little bit thicker now because we've added the cookies into it. So now that's our cookie dough ice cream. All right, so now we're gonna cover this, and for 4 to 6 hours, we're gonna leave it in the freezer. Try to leave it alone. You can check it if you want, but I recommend definitely leaving it alone for a little while. It will freeze solid, it will freeze up, and it'll be the consistency you want. Okay, it's all locked up. We're just gonna smooth it out one more time. Make sure everybody's even enough. And now this goes in the freezer 4 to 6 hours. I like to set a timer on my phone because I do tend to forget if I've put something in the freezer or in the fridge just to cool down for a certain amount of time. So you can set a timer on your oven, on your phone, wherever you want to set it. If you want to leave it overnight, that's fine. If you want to do it earlier in the day, let it set and then take it out. You could probably leave it for longer if you're going to take it somewhere and it might melt in that travel between. So depending on the consistency you want, 4 to 6 hours. I do believe the last time I did it, I think when I did about 4 hours, it did come out a bit like soft serve. But if you want it a little bit harder, I mean, it's going to freeze overnight anyway. So just take it out a little bit before you're going to eat it, and stay out of there. And that way then it's soft enough for you. We are about 2 hours in to the freezing process, and as of right now you can see the consistency has definitely thickened up. It's almost like a soft serve right now. So if you did want to, you could have it about 2 hours, 3 hours, but 4 to 6 would probably be like the frozen solid. So this is for you guys to try at home. Let us know what kind of recipes you tried, what ingredients did you use in your ice cream, and thanks for checking out our channel. Bye guys!